Hello, kids. Today we talk about the Happy Prince. The night view of the city square is bright with moonlight. The statue of the Happy Prince stands tall in the center of the square. Passers-by exclaimed loudly, "Look, how beautiful the Happy Prince is!" A swallow fluttered over from the night sky. It fell behind and wanted to stay for the night at the statue's foot. Tears rolled down the statue's gilded cheeks and fell on the swallow's back. The swallow was startled, looked up, and stared at the statue in confusion. Where does the water come from? Seeing the statue's compassionate eyes, the swallow couldn't help but ask, "Happy Prince, why are you crying?" Moonlight illuminates the tear stains on the statue's face, and he speaks in a low, compassionate voice. "I see the poverty in the city. Even though my heart is made of lead, I can't help but cry." The statue pointed to a dimly lit attic in the distance. He said to the swallow on his shoulder, "Look at that attic. There is a seamstress and a sick child inside." Inside the attic, a seamstress was sewing a dance dress for the maid of honor. Her fingers were full of needle pricks, and she looked sickly thin. The child beside the bed had a high fever and kept moaning. She had no money for antipyretics, so she could only give the child cold water. The swallow stood on the statue's shoulder and leaned out to look at the attic. It looked hesitant and thought to itself, "I'm going to Egypt tomorrow. Only there has warm sunshine." It implored the swallow softly, "Please take off the ruby on my hilt and save that child." Looking at the prince's earnest eyes, the swallow's heart softened. It pecked off the ruby on the hilt and held it in its mouth. It flew to the attic and slipped through the half-open window. The ruby fell beside the seamstress's hand. The swallow flew around the bed twice and fanned the child with its wings. The child stopped tossing and turning and murmured, "It's so cool, I'm getting better." Then it fell into a deep sleep. The swallow flew back to the statue's shoulder and shook off the frost on its feathers. A warmth rose in its heart, and it couldn't help but say, "It's strange, it's so cold, but I feel warm." There seemed to be a smile on the statue's lips. With moonlight shining on it, it replied gently, "Because you did a good deed." The next night, the swallow was grooming its feathers to say goodbye. The statue saw this and hurried to ask it to stay. "Stay for another night. There is a poor writer on the top floor who is almost frozen stiff." The swallow looked at the statue that had lost one eye and felt unbearable. It couldn't help but sob when pecking off the gem. "You won't be handsome anymore." The poor writer on the top floor found the sapphire on the windowsill. His eyes lit up with surprise, and he hurried to make a fire for warmth. He held the gem and murmured, "Someone appreciates my work." On the third night, the statue saw the little match girl crying in the square. She was crying because her matches were scattered. The statue hurriedly said to the swallow, "Please take my other gem and save that little girl." The swallow shook its head firmly and pecked off the last gem. It gave the gem to the girl and watched her run away. It landed on the statue's shoulder and said firmly, "I'm not leaving. I'll be your eyes." From then on, the swallow became the princess' eyes. It took him to see every corner of the city. It pecked off the gold leaf from the princess' body piece by piece. It gave the gold leaf to the beggars, frozen children and poor people by the road. When winter came, the swallow's feathers fell off. It leaned weakly on the statue's shoulder. The statue was full of worry and urged eagerly, "Hurry to Egypt, you will freeze to death here." The swallow kissed the prince's lips with its last strength. It fell at his feet and spoke weakly but firmly, "I will stay with you." The next morning, the mayor passed the square. He looked up at the dull and ugly statue and frowned. He waved to the workers to demolish it and ordered, "This statue is too ugly, demolish it and melt it down." By the melting furnace, the workers tried to melt the statue parts. Only the lead heart could not be melted at all. Someone muttered and threw it into the garbage dump casually. It just landed beside the swallow's body. In the clouds of heaven, the sun was shining brightly. God ordered the angel beside him, "Go to the world and bring back the two most precious things." The angel flew to God with the lead heart and the swallow's body. God nodded in approval with a smile and said, You chose well, this is the most precious thing in the world. God chose the half-lead heart and the swallow's body. They contain the most precious kindness and companionship in the world. In the Garden of Heaven, the swallow could spread its wings and sing again. The happy prince also showed an eternal smile.